Word up, car people! In this video I will show how to install an Android car head unit. For this project you need different kinds of tools. You will need a torque screwdriver, a number 10 and a number 20. Then we also need a wire stripper. I have 3 kinds, but they basically do the same. I like to use this one when I'm stripping a wire, and this one when I'm making a military connection or a military slice. Then you also need a multi-cutter when you're trimming down the plastic to make room for the new head unit. You need some solder and a solder iron and some shrink wrap. And I know that Peugeot using another antenna, so you need an antenna adapter for this car. BMW and Volkswagen and Opel and Ford is also using this kind of connection, a FACRA connection. We also need some basic hand tools and a voltmeter so we can find the connection or find a bad connection. And then for the new dash trim, I'm going to use some fiberglass putting and some chemical plastic tree putting and some masking tape or plastic wrap. Before we disconnect the plugs and connections, make sure that you disconnect the negative battery pole. It will make sure that we don't blow a fuse or get a short. Okay, so now we are ready to disconnect the dash. Here I'm using a torque screwdriver number 10. Here I'm disconnecting the main plug. We will get back to that. And here I'm disconnecting the antenna. In this Peugeot we have 2 antennas, but afterward I'll only be using one of them. For the next part I'm using a torque screwdriver number 20. As you can see on this brown plug, you just need to push down the little tip to get the black handle down so you can pull out the plug. And now we are ready to unbox the head unit. Here you have the wires and the plug for the CVBS, and here's the Android head unit. Okay, now we have opened the package. Here you can see the head unit and where you plug in the plugs, the connections. Cool. And some brackets to the attachment. And then we have the USB plug and another USB plug. We have the rear view camera connection. And this harnessed the power supply and speakers. Don't be afraid of it. I will talk you through that later. And as I said before, then we have the CVBS and so forth out, in and out. We have the GPS box. We have a microphone on a jack. We have the rear view camera, which will be in another video. And the wire from the head unit to the camera. And then I also have this pusher adapter to ISO. That's what I could get, but we will just cut the wires. And as I also mentioned before, we need a FACRA antenna adapter for this car to be able to connect the antenna to the new head unit. Here you can see the wiring diagram and some abbreviations. You can download the file in the description to get all the abbreviations that I got and I could find. It will be useful in the future if you have some kind of abbreviation you can't understand. It really helped me to sort out which wire does what On an aftermarket head unit, you typically have a red wire that are the switch ignition power, the accessory. You have a yellow that are constant 12 volt. You have a black that are typical ground. You have an orange that are the illumination. You have a blue and white that are the amplifier. You have a blue wire that are the power antenna. You have an orange and white that are the dimmer. And then you have all the speaker wires which sits in pair. Remember to always connect the positive with the positive wire and the negative two-colored wire with the negative input. Otherwise, you will have speakers that works against each other and the sound will not be good. As you know, when I disconnect all the plugs, I have the negative battery pole off, but now we need to find the connections, so I've connected the negative battery pole again. On the multimeter, we set it to DC, direct current. We use direct current in cars and AC in houses, alternating current. This is the main plug, and we need to sort out which wire goes to what. This one definitely goes to the speakers. They sit in pair and are thin. So what we need to check is the other plug or harness. Here I check one of them and you can see I get the ground and the constant 12 volt. The car is not turned on for the moment. Here I check another one and you can see I get 0.2, and when I start the car it triggers the wire, but not enough to trigger the head unit. It will need around 12 volt. So after some checking, I couldn't find the accessory, the red wire, which are not good. Okay, so now I know that the black is the ground and the yellow is the constant, but somehow they have switched some of the other wires, and especially the red that should be the accessory. And as you perhaps can see, the pins are also in the wrong place. Here you can see I'm soldering all the wires together, and I've just speeded up the process. I will do it with all the wires. For correct soldering, you have the soldering iron under the wire and the solder over the wire. After soldering all the wires, I'm ready to connect it to the car. And as I mentioned before, I couldn't find the accessory wire. So what I did, I took the cigarette plug because that will turn off with the car. And we need that for the head unit to turn off when the car turns off. So I took the air condition unit out of the car to be able to get to the cigarette plug. And here you can see I'm making a military slice or military connection. Besides that, I also extended the accessory wire so it could reach the cigarette plug. And now I've made the adjustments, so we are ready to test the head unit for the first time. And look at that! Let there be light! We got a running head unit. Here you have the radio, and I'll just go to the menu, and here's the apps. You have YouTube and Chrome, and it all works, but I'm not logged in and it doesn't have internet connection right now, but still the head unit is working. Here you have the main settings. You can change the settings for the car and so forth, and also for the head unit. And here you can see I get Wi-Fi from my phone. So now the head unit is also connected to the internet, but I need to update this one first. So let me just go into Chrome instead. And here I type YouTube. So you can see that the internet is also working. Great. And I just connected the head unit to the internet through my phone via Wi-Fi. I have also connected the Bluetooth. It was really easy. And here you have it. YouTube working. Okay, now that we know the head unit is working, we will start to trim down the dash so we can get it in. But remember, I didn't trim down the dash before I knew that the head unit was working. And here is where I use the multi-cutter. And I also just trimmed down some of the plastic. And now the new head unit fits perfect in the dash. So I'm going to assemble all the wires again. Here's the air condition unit. As you can see, I have also switched the small info screen and the radio that are now the new head unit. The head unit is on top, and I'll make a new trim for the small info screen under. It will make the view of the screen much easier to have it on top. Here I connect the main plug with the power wires and the speakers. And as I mentioned, I got the adapter for this car, so we don't have to cut the factory wires. It will make it much easier to connect the old radio, and also if I want to sell the car in the future. So don't cut the factory wires, just get an adapter. Here I connect the antenna with the Facra adapter, and here I connect the GPS unit. And here I connect the rear view camera connection. That will be in another video. And for the CVBS connection and AUX in and out. And here I connect the wire for the rear view camera and the USB connection. And now I connect the power supply and the speakers. I will just pop out this trim of the dashboard and get the wire through the dashboard to the head unit and place it at the windshield. Then you can't see the wires and it'll look good. The USB connection I've just put in the hand glove box. As you perhaps saw, the time and date was not set, so now I just disconnected the new head unit, and it's easy to do with the adapter for the factory plug. And now I just set the time with the old car stereo for the small info screen, and then I just detach the main plug again and put the new head unit in, and it will still store the time and date on the small info screen. Perfect. So here you have it, a working new car head unit. In the next video, I will show how to make a trim around the new head unit. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel.